Can you hear me? Good, clear. Good. If someone broadcast all kinds of unpleasant remarks about you throughout the 3,000 world, in return, with a loving mind, speak of his good qualities. And number 15 is through someone may deride and speak bad words about you in a public gathering, looking on him as a spiritual teacher, bowed to him with respect. This is the practice of Buddhism. Number 16 is even if a person for whom you have cared like your own child regard you as an enemy, cherish him especially like a mother does her child who is stricken by sickness. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. Number 17 is in an equal or inferior person disparage you out of pride, place him as you would place your spiritual teacher with respect out the crown of your head. This is the practice of Bodhisattva. Number 18, do you lack what you need and are constantly disparate, afflicted by dangerous sickness and spirits, without discouragement, take on the misdeeds and pain of all living beings. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. Number 19, do you become famous and many bow to you and you again reach equal to Vishtarvana. This is well protected. We call the Tibetan is called the Namse. They do lots of protection. See that worldly fortune is without essence, and he unconceited. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. Number 20. While the enemy of your own anger is unsubdued, though you may conquer external foes, they will only increase. Therefore, with the militia of love and compassion, subdue your own mind. This is the practice of Bodhisattva. Number 21. Sensual pleasures are like salt water. The more you indulge, the more thirst increases. Abandon at once those things which breed clinking attachment. This is the practice of Bodhisattva. So this is the transmission of it. So now number 14, come back to the number 14. Even someone broadcasts all kinds of unpleasant remarks about you throughout the 3,000 worlds. In return, with loving mind, speak of good qualities. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. So this is teaching about loving kindness. So loving kindness. So kindness. So we have ordinary loving kindness, great loving kindness, universal loving kindness, extraordinary loving kindness, right? So there are ordinary loving kindness. Everybody, ordinary people have ordinary loving kindness, and universal loving kindness. All the spiritual, speakable same love and compassion, right? And great loving kindness and extraordinary loving kindness. So here we are talking about extraordinary loving kindness, which is the direct cause of bodhicitta mind. So extraordinary loving kindness is, for example, like this loving kindness should be something like this. The loving kindness that sees beings, all beings, as precious is like the love a mother has for her only child. Whenever she sees that child, she is spontaneously filled with the kind of loving kindness. The child appears to her as the nearest and the dearest objects. She likes to see them. She loves to hear him. She wants to help him and is glad to provide whatever he or she might need it. So this kind of loving kindness is spontaneous. So it's so loving kindness M is bring happiness to all the beings and also produce the causes of happiness to all the beings. So this kind of loving kindness, we are talking about extraordinary loving kindness, which is without distinguishing. Protecting loving kindness, why we need to practice loving kindness, right? Protecting loving kindness toward being is a great virtue and has powerful benefit if we practice loving kindness without distinguishing, right? This kind of loving kindness is spontaneously, no boundary. So object of loving kindness is limitless sentient beings. So therefore loving kindness has no boundary. It's just go further and further. You know what I mean? So how much virtue they are practicing loving kindness? Indian Master Nagarjuna said in his text, giving 300 plates of food, like 3 times breakfast, lunch, dinner, does not equal 1 part of the merit accumulated in just an instant of loving kindness. So this kind of benefit, loving kindness. Even if you don't achieve liberation, you will receive the added benefit of loving kindness, in Master said. So if you practice that loving kindness, and God and human will be friend with you, they will also protect you, you will find joy, you will find much happiness. Poisonous will not harm you, weapon will not harm you, you will achieve your good effortlessly, you will be reborn in Brahmariyam. So that is why we need to practice loving kindness. Then next one is, through someone may deride speak bad words about you in public gathering, looking on him as a spiritual teacher, bow to him with respect. Bodhisattvas, so this is very important. Bodhisattvas are seeking, their goal is enlightenment. So they want to achieve enlightenment, so they are working all the time for the benefit of all the sentient beings, right? So sentient beings, and this is the only way they can achieve enlightenment. So therefore, whenever some speak words or whatever, then you should think about, use this for your spiritual development, strengthen your knowledge, strengthen your bodhicitta mind or your practice. So this is what I'm talking about. Even if a person for whom you have cared like your own child, regard as you as an enemy, cherish him equally, especially like mother does her string by signal. This is talking about the compassion. So now here compassion is very similar to ordinary compassion, universal compassion, great compassion, extraordinary compassion. So here we are talking about extraordinary compassion. So extraordinary compassion should be like this. If a good mother has a child who gets sick, you take this example, right? And she will worry and do everything. She can help that child and call the doctors, take him or her to the hospital, buy medicine, whatever is necessary. That attitude is completely natural for her. If nobody has to tell her, why don't you do something? Don't you have any compassion for your sick child? You don't have to tell this to the mom. It's just compassion arises automatically, right? Automatically. And in the mind. So this is talking about the extraordinary compassion, which is the direct cause of bodhicitta mind. So similarly, when we think about, see, hear, or become aware of the suffering of all beings, and compassion arises in us, to extend that compassion with that intensity. So that is the Bodhisattva's great compassion, which is direct cause of bodhicitta mind. So conversion of bodhicitta mind. Next one is if an equal or inferior person disparage you out of pride, please him as you would place your spiritual teacher with respect in the crown of your head. So here we are talking about three kinds of afflicted mind. So one is pride. Those who are equal with you is competitive mind. Those who are inferior, and then you inferior, then you put down this person. So inferior, pride, competitiveness. So these kind of afflictive emotion arise in your mind, then you have to use the Bodhisattva's practice. They are spiritual teacher because of those people giving us me to strengthen my bodhicitta mind, strengthen my knowledge, strengthen my wisdom realizing emptiness. Through this, they are like my spiritual teacher instead of. So this is the Bodhisattva. And then here is to you like what do you need and are constantly disparaged, afflicted, dangerous, sickness, spirit with discouragement. Take on the misdeed pain of living beings. This is practice of. So this is very difficult practice. So you know what I mean? This if we Bodhisattvas are courage beings, right? When they have problem, any problem, and then they will use this problem to increase bodhicitta mind. So ordinary people, so when we have this kind of problem, then we always think, problem is not coming from inside, it is coming from outside. Somebody making you problem. Nothing, I don't have any problem inside. All are created by the external people. And then this will not solve the problem. So this will create more problem, right? So when you are have some problems, or we have so many problems, mental, physical, health problem, money problem, financial problem, all these problems arise. We have to think, where does problem come from? Who is creating this problem? You know what I mean? So you have to take the example of the Buddha, Buddha have no problem, no pain, no suffering. So usually we have to use that turning bad condition into the right condition due to the power of the mind. Number one. Bad condition into the right condition due to the power of right view. Bad condition turn into the right condition due to the power of body and speech. We have to use this kind of practice. So mental power, So Buddha, when somebody invite Buddha in India and put the poison food, they put poison in the food in India and invite many his followers together because this family want to kill the Buddha and all this, this Arya. The Buddha says, no problem, we go for lunch and don't eat before me, So they invite, he put the poison. All the Buddha eat first and all the Aryan eat later and nobody died. All food turned into the medicine. Why? Because Buddha practiced countless aeon, bodhicitta mind, exchanging oneself to other, no internal poison. Therefore, his mental power can change this poison into the medicine, all the delicious food. So it means that we ordinary people, when we have problem, so we have to think, where does problem come from? Who is creating this problem? So I'm practicing Dharma, so I will use this problem to accumulate merit and purify karma. You must have these two mental attitude all the times. Whenever you do something, recitation of mantras or whatever you do, when you are practicing, if you have some problem, Then you use these two. Oh, I have to use this problem to accumulate merit and purify bad karma. These two mental attitudes should be motivated before you start practicing. So then whenever you have some problem, right? So then if you have some problem, right, then you will think, oh, I have this problem now. Now I can use this problem to accumulate merit and purify my karma. My karma is completely finished because of this problem. I will rejoice this. Rejoice your karma. And then this is what we ordinary people should do like this. You know what I mean? And then you have to also think about this problem is not external. It is internal problem because I plant the karmic seed. So if I plant the karmic seed, I have to experience this karmic seed sooner or later. I'm great experience right now, all finished, it will not happen in the future. So you have to use like this. So this is what we are talking about. All your turning your, like problem, sickness, mental, physical problem to accumulate merit and purify karma. This is using bad condition into the right condition due to the power of the mind. Now using bad condition into right condition due to the power of right view. We have problem, right? Because you should, before you practice the right view, you have to take one analogy. Coil rope. Dawn time, right? Coil rope there. And you're not sure whether it is snake or you have fear. Fear maybe snake. So you have your conceptual mind create, oh, this is coil rope, maybe it looks like snake, and then you project to be snake. And then you go close to the coil rope and flash the light, right? And then no snake, just coil rope. So you realize this is mistaken. You project that coil rope to be snake is completely mistaken because you flash the light, you see the coil rope there. This is mistaken mind, right? Similarly, ignorance mind, grasping mind, whenever we contact object, it appears independently, inherently. We project independent existence person, independent, whatever we appear to our mind, independent, without dependent cause and condition. But if you use the analyze and wisdom realizing emptiness, dispel no independent existence, it's like flashlight, completely subside the mistaken. So whenever you see or you know what, you see people or whatever, it appears to your mind independent existence. And then you use the wisdom realizing emptiness, it's like flashlight, dispel the independent existence. So you dispel this mistaken mind and you see, oh, no independent existent person, no independent existent, pain and suffering. No need to worry. Pain is empty of independent existence. Suffering is empty of independent existence. All is my mind project to be existing independently, and you use this wisdom realizing emptiness. So you realize problem is empty of independent existence. So you dispel this problem. this is what we call the using bad condition into the right condition due to the power of the right view. Right view. Now using bad condition right into the right condition due to the power of physical and speech. So then physical, what do? We make offering, clean the room, we arrange meditation, do prostration, and recitation of the 106 syllable mantras, and the 35 Buddha's prayers, like this. So which will accumulate the merit and purify the karma. Doing two things. Sok sa, Tibetan. Sok means accumulate merit, sok sa. Tibetjang means purify the bad karma. You do two things simultaneously. Accumulate merit, at the same time you will purify the karma. And then you should also think, whenever something happened to you, problem or some maybe demons or some spirit, so you should offer torma or biscuit or recitation of mantra, and say, invite, recite the mantra and say, please eat this cake, eat this biscuit, please don't harm me, please change your mind, please help the Dhamma practitioner. So this is one way, turning bad condition into right condition, power of the body and mind. And then lastly, you can say offering, like dharma or the cake ritual thing. When you recite the prayer, they will definitely come. And then because the power of the mantra, they have to come. And then you have to say, oh, please eat this and don't cause problem. So then, like protector, if you're a protector, you offer to the protector, trauma or biscuit, or saying thank you very much for your support for the Dhamma practitioner. Please continuously help me like this. So this is what we call the turning bad condition into the right condition. Now you become famous and may have bowed to you, and you gain which equal to wash ceremonies. See that wordly for this one. Now we will go to the 20. With the enemy of your own anger is unsubdued, though you may conquer external foes, they will only increase. Therefore, with the militia of love and compassion, subdue your own mind. This is the practice of Buddhism. So here, when we talk about enemy, right? We have two types of enemy: external enemy and internal enemy. So, external enemy, internal enemy, both, if we don't stop, will make you trouble. Same, right? External enemy or internal enemy. If you have external enemy, internal enemy, you need to prevent and you need to protect. If not, then they will harm you. This is exactly the same. But it is very important to distinguish what is the quality of external enemy and what is the function of external enemy. What is the quality of internal enemy? What is the quality of function of internal enemy? It's very different. So what is the quality of external enemy, right? So external enemy, you may have enemy in the past, very bad enemy. And because of due to circumstances, it is possible enemy will change into the friend. This will not happen to the internal enemy. This is the unique quality of external enemy. You understand what I'm saying? External enemy, you may have very bad enemy in the past and later become good friend. So this will not happen with internal enemy, like ignorance cannot become compassion. Hatred cannot change into the compassion. This is impossible. But external enemy, we see enemy become friend. This is one quality of the external enemy. Now the external enemy, right? You live in same place, same town, like in the Mumbai. You may have one enemy. An enemy make you bothering you, make you trouble, but you know what do? You move to some Brisbane or maybe Gold Coast, something like this. Temporarily, you will escape from enemy, right? And then you are peace because you are not with enemy. You went to the Gold Coast, Brisbane, enemies in the Moolumba, right? And you go there temporarily. You are very peaceful, like this, and maybe 2-3 years, enemy will come back again and see you. This will happen to this will say, we see the movie all the time, in the movie you show all the time, enemy comes later, like this. This will happen to the external enemy. Now the internal enemy, nothing happen like this. When you, internal enemy, when you apply the antidote, you will remove enemy completely, cessation. It will never come back like this external enemy. So these are different qualities of the enemy, right? So external enemy, and now you have to think, who is worse? External enemy or internal enemy? Compared to internal enemy, external enemy is nothing. Worst external enemy kill you, that's the worst thing, nothing more than that. But internal enemy, enemy of the ignorance, anger, will first destroy you, destroy your friend, destroy your future life, and enemy, this internal enemy will lead you to the lower realm, hell beings, hungry ghost. The external enemy, who is worse? You see, in 1980, remember election in America, 1980, Ronald Reagan and Bush, senior Bush, campaigning enemy each other, fighting Republican. Ronald Reagan win the election, Republican candidate, and he chose George W. Bush vice president. This happened in first enemy, then friend. So therefore, he's talking about what we need to distinguish, enemy, which is distinguish external enemy, quality and function of external and internal enemies. Sensual pleasures are like salt water. The more you indulge, the more thirst increase. Abandon at one thing which breed clinging attachment. This is the practice of Buddhism. Now we all talk about sensory consciousness, right? We have to know how sensory consciousness functions, right? So first we have to know, according to Buddhist perspective, right? First to understand the sensory mind, how it functions, how it perceives the object, we must first think about Buddhist perspective, have to think about existing and non-existing. existing, something existing and non-existing is very much depend on the how valid mind perceive the mind object. Something is perceived by valid mind to exist. Something is not perceived by valid mind does not exist. Horn rabbit does not exist. Right? All these books exist because your sensory consciousness perceive the object. Object existing and non-existing very much depend on the how valid mind perceive the object. So the object should be two: temporary, occasional object, or the permanent object. Right? The temporary object, then it's divided into three: form, formless, and abstract entity. So, form, smell, taste, tangible are the objects of sensory consciousness. You know what I mean? Sensory, we're talking about sensory pleasure. Form, smell, taste, touch, tangible is object of sensory consciousness. Eye, nose, tongue consciousness. Then formless phenomena, which is formless phenomena is consciousness is formless phenomena, right? Consciousness and I can say it is self is formless phenomena. Abstract entity phenomena is neither form nor consciousness. Time, knowledge belongs to that category. Time is not consciousness. Right? Time is not form, but do exist. It belongs to the abstract entity phenomena, which is temporary. So temporary phenomena, temporary object divided into three: form, formless, and abstract entity phenomena. Object, now sensory, we're talking about sensory mind, right? So we have to know that because of there are three different types of object, then mind distinguished into two: primary mind and secondary mind. Primary mind, 6: eye, ear, nose, tongue, mental consciousness. These are primary consciousness. So primary consciousness must be in order to function, must have three conditions: objective condition, subjective condition, and immediate condition. For example, like eye consciousness perceive the object, so your eye consciousness is subjective mind. Object book is objective condition, and your eye sense organ have potential to perceive that object is dominant condition. So must have these three to function sensory consciousness. So this sensory consciousness are primary consciousness, but they have their own sense function. Eye consciousness, see, not hear. Smell consciousness, smell, not taste. So they have their own function, right? But the mental factor, right, have not their own factor, but always accompany with mind. So this is what we have to in order to function the central consciousness must have three conditions. Okay, objective, subjective, and dominant condition. But if brain is not functioning, it will also need functioning the brain to perceive the object. Brain alone is not enough. You also need mental consciousness accompanied with brain to perceive the object. You know what I mean? So therefore, because these different types of consciousness, different types of mind, we distinguish valid mind, invalid mind. We finished last week, and we have conceptual mind, non-conceptual mind. So now we need to understand conceptual mind, non-conceptual mind. We need to understand two types of phenomena: affirming phenomena and negative phenomena. So affirming phenomena is book is affirming phenomena. So negative phenomena means if I say this table is empty of book, so then negative phenomena. So affirming phenomena and non-affirming phenomena. Non-affirming phenomena means negate something. I say table is empty of book, so I negate something. This is negative. So therefore conceptual mind which perceives negative, conceptual mind which perceives affirming phenomena, book, etc. like that. Now negative phenomena, right? Negative phenomena, there are many different types, but two types of negative: affirming negative phenomena and non-affirming negative phenomena. Affirming negative phenomena, affirming negative phenomena, right? Four types. Negative phenomena which suggest phenomena explicitly, which suggest phenomena implicitly, which suggest phenomena both explicitly or implicitly, phenomena which context of these two. So generally speaking, four types of affirming negative phenomena. If I give you an example like if I say to you guys, fat man like this fat man does not eat dinner. What is this? This fat man does not eat dinner means without saying, you know he will eat lunch, right? Suggest explicitly or implicitly, right? If I say fat man does not eat dinner, right? So without saying, implicitly you know he eat lunch, something like that. You don't have to say like this. Like this is kind of like negative phenomena, right? If I say like this, those Brahman does not drink alcohol. Then what? Those Brahman does not drink alcohol means Brahman will drink tea or coffee. You don't have to say like this. Did you know? If I say like this, the Brahman does not drink alcohol means he will drink something else, right? Tea or not saying like this. So they are negative phenomena. These are non-affirming negative phenomena. Because negative phenomena, emptiness is negative phenomena. So you need to understand all this: conceptual mind, non-conceptual mind, negative phenomena, affirming phenomena, negative phenomena divided into four, like that. So then you will really understand how sensory consciousness is non-conceptual phenomena. Right? Sensory consciousness is non-conceptual, right? It is direct perceiving object. You don't need any image, right? When there's image, then conceptual mind. When there's image, then mind become what we call the jewel mind. Isn't it? So this is what. So therefore, my point is, since sensory minds are more you engage, it will increase more and more attachment. Therefore, your practitioner should not rely on sensory mind, but relying on the mental consciousness, wisdom mind. So that's the point talking about. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Any questions or?
Thanks, Geshe. I'm just wondering with the, forgotten what you called it, but the implied phenomena, like it's, you say something and then it implies, like the Brahmin having the tea.
I'm talking about to understand mind, right? You need to understand the object of the mind, right? We have different types of mind, right? We're talking about primary mind. You know what is primary mind. Well, somebody talking about mental factors. What are the mental factors? So somebody talking about conceptual mind. What is conceptual mind? To understand mind, we must understand object of mind, right? Object. So when we say sensory consciousness, then you see, perceive the object form from sensory consciousness, right? So when we understand this phenomena, conceptual mind, non-conceptual mind, help you to understand emptiness. Because emptiness is negative phenomena. We're negating something, right? We're negating, emptiness is negating something, right? We negate inherent existence. We are negating and then empty of inherent existence.
I was going to ask if there's this assumption around negative phenomena, like are we assuming, like if we're clear about what our phenomena is, then the implied or the negative phenomena, is there a danger of making a lot of assumptions about the negative?
Right now, when we talk about this negative, we're not talking about negative emotions, okay?
I understand.
Yeah, but we're talking about negative object.
Yeah.
It means
Empty.
we negate something, Then that, if I say this table is empty of books, so I negate the book. So that this kind of negative object, right? We should not mix like this negative.
No. Just are we assuming something about negated, not negative, but just the empty phenomena that's implied by the phenomena we perceive. If there's a implied phenomena, I think there's a tendency for us to fill it up with something. So is there a danger of making an assumption about implied or negated phenomena?
Maybe not danger. I don't think so. We try to understand the object of the mind, and this is the.
Are you saying that you think like the big thing is the thing?